This is Algebra 1, Test 9 through Lesson 3.3 Study Guide. Which one is an identity? Which one is going to be exactly the same on the left side and the right side? If we distribute -2 to both of these, negative to both of these, we get 15 minus 2v minus 7. 15 minus 7, or like terms, gives you a positive 8, so it's 8 minus 2v. That is not the same thing as negative 2v minus 8, because the 8 would be positive, so A doesn't work. D's the one that looks the same when you first look at it, but 5y plus 3 is not the same thing as 5y minus 3, so we got to pick between C and B. So if we look at B, it says 4m minus 5 on the left. We can't put those two together because they're not like terms. We can combine 5m and negative m and get 4m, so that part's promising, but it says plus 7, which is not the same. So it's looking like it's going to be C. Let's take a look at that one. When we distribute -2 to both of these, we get negative 2w plus 6. The rest of it says 5w plus 6 minus w is equal to 6w, then the rest of that stuff. So when we combine 5w and negative w, we have 4w plus 6 equals, combining 6w and negative 2w, we get 4w plus 6. That is exactly the same on both the left and the right. C is the only thing that works for that one. An identity means its identity remains unchanged, exactly the same on both the left and the right. Number 2, start solving equations. 3x over 5 is equal to 0.5. I'm sorry, 3x over 5 minus 0.5 is equal to 1.9. Undo addition and subtraction first. We want to get x equals all by itself. Undo minus 0.5 by adding it. If you add it there, add it here. 1.9 plus 0.5 is 2.4. 2.4 is equal to 3x over 5. Now this says 3 times x divided by 5 is equal to 2.4. Undo divide by 5 by multiplying by 5. If you multiply to the left, do the same thing on the right. This will cancel and leave you with 3x is equal to 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. So it's 12.0. And then 3 times x, we undo that by dividing by 3. Do likewise to the other side. 12 divided by 3 is 4. If at this step you changed it to, say, 3/5 times x, you could have multiplied by the reciprocal 5 over 3 and did it in one step instead of 2 and gotten the same 4. For number 3, you have to distribute 6 before you try to undo anything. 6 times 4.5y, 6 times 5 is 30. So you have to carry a 3. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 3 is 27. And then as a decimal, we have to move it to make it 27.0y. And 6 times negative 12. 6 times 2 is 12, carry a 1. 6 times 1 is 6, plus the 1 we carried is negative 72. It's equal to 9. So we have 27y minus 72 equals 9. We want to get, at this point, we want to get y equals all by itself. Undo negative 72 by adding it. If you add it there, add it here. And 27, there's no reason to write 0.0y is equal to 81. Get y by itself by undoing 27 times it. Divide by 27. You do it there, do it here. 27 goes into 81 3 times. So y is 3. Number 4 says -6 equals x over 8 plus 4. So our goal, we can't put x over 8 plus 4 together because one has an x and one doesn't, not like terms. So we undo. Undo plus 4 first by subtracting 4. If you do it there, do it here. Same signs, -6 and 4. Add them up and get 10 and keep the common sign negative. So we have -10 is equal to x over 8. Plus 4 minus 4 is eliminated. That says x over 8, which means divide by 8. Cancel divide by 8 by multiplying by 8. You multiply the right, multiply the left. 8 times -10 is -80. Opposite signs are negative. 2 over 3x plus 5 is equal to 9. Again, your goal is to get x equals all by itself. It says plus 5, subtract it. You subtract the left, subtract the right. Remember, you always do the same thing. 2 over 3x is equal to 9 minus 5, which is 4. Now, this says 2 over 3 times x. You undo times 2 over 3 by dividing by 2 over 3. But remember, dividing by a fraction is the same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal, 3 over 2. If you do it to the left, do it to the right. Everything's over 1, so x is equal to 4 times 3 is 12, 1 times 2 is 2, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. You could have cross-canceled a step earlier to make smaller numbers. You would have still gotten the same x equals 6. Number 6 says 18 is equal to negative d plus 8. You want to get d all by itself. It says plus 8, undo that on the right by subtracting it. If you subtract 8 on the right, subtract 8 on the left, and you have 10 left over, equals not d, but it says negative d. That's the same thing as negative 1 right next to d, which means negative 1 times d. Undo that by dividing by negative 1. If you divide the right, do the same to the left. Opposite signs, positive divided by negative is a negative. 10 divided by 1 is 10. 2 is equal to 10 plus z divided by negative 3. Now, typically, we would work our order of operations backwards. We would do any subtraction and addition first before we do multiplication and division, then exponents, and then parentheses. But since there is a fraction bar right here, 10 plus z over negative 3, it acts like a grouping symbol around these two. So we can't undo plus 10 there. The first thing we have to undo is divide by negative 3. So our goal is still to get z isolated by itself, but undo divide by negative 3 by multiplying by negative 3. If you do it to the right, do the exact same thing to the left. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6, is equal to this, cancels out this, 10 plus z. There's addition and subtraction happening between 10 and z. So you know there's addition and subtraction, but this is the sign that tells you what to undo. It says positive 10, which is plus 10, subtract it. If you subtract 10 from the right, subtract it from the left. Same sign, 6 and 10, add them up and get 16. And common sign, keep them negative. Z is equal to negative 16. Number 8 says 60 plus 6 plus 4m is equal to 78. Remember, before you try to undo anything and get m by itself, you need to make sure the left side is completely simplified. Simplified means all like terms are put together and there are no unnecessary grouping signs. Like terms in this case will be 60 and 6. When we put those two together, we get the number 66 plus 4m equals 78. Now we want to get m by itself. There's addition and subtraction happening between 66 and 4m, but this positive 66 tells you what to undo. You undo positive or plus 66 by subtracting it. If you do it from the left, you subtract 66 on the right. 4m is what's left over on the left is equal to 12. Then get m by itself by dividing by 4 to cancel out 4 times m. If you divide the left, divide the right. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Again, before we try to bring anything across, we have to distribute. We got to get rid of the unnecessary grouping symbol. 6 times y is 6y. 6 times negative 7 is negative 42, is equal to negative 12. Still want to get y equals all by itself. Undo negative or minus 42 by adding 42. Add it to the left, add it to the right. Negative 12 plus 42 is 30. You have 6y still on the left. Get rid of 6 times something by dividing by 6. Do it to the left, do it to the right. 30 divided by 6 is 5. Number 10, 3p over 4 plus 7 is equal to negative 11. Undo, we want to get p all by itself. Undo plus 7 by subtracting it. You subtract from the left, subtract from the right. Negative 11 minus 7, same signs, add them up, and keep the common negative. We still have 3p over 4 on the left side. That says divided by 4. Cancel out divide by 4 by multiplying by 4. If you multiply the left, multiply the right. This will cancel out this and leave you with just 3p. 8 times 4 is 32. Carry a 3. 4 times 1 is 4. Plus 3 is 72. And a negative times a positive is a negative. Then get p by itself by undoing 3 times p. Divide by 3. Do it to the left. Do the same to the right. 3 goes into negative 7, negative 2 times, and there's 1 left over. 3 goes into 12 4 times. So p equals negative 24. A negative divided by positive is a negative. Number 11 says you are driving to visit a friend in another state who lives 440 miles away. You're driving 55 miles per hour and have already driven 275 miles. Write and solve an equation to find how much longer in hours you must drive to reach your destination. Well, the person lives 440 miles away. Okay? So 440 minus 275 equals 55 times x. Better yet, let's write it this way instead. It'll make a little bit better sense this way. 440 miles equals 275 plus 55x. So when we take 275 away, if we want to get x isolated all by itself, undo positive 275 by subtracting it. You subtract it from the right, subtract 275 from the left. 10 minus 5 is 5. 13 minus 7 is 6. And 3 minus 2 is 1. So 165 miles equals 55 times x. Then divide by 55 on both sides. And x is going to be equal to 3 more hours to reach the friend's house.